In a quiet village nestled between green hills and flowing rivers, there lived a beautiful young woman named Grace. She was the daughter of the village pastor, Reverend Elijah. Everyone in the village respected the pastor not only for his kind heart and wise words, but also for how he raised his daughter. Grace was beautiful, intelligent, and strong-willed, but there was one thing everyone whispered about behind closed doors. No man could satisfy the pastor's daughter. Many young men had tried to win her heart. They brought her gifts, golden jewelry, baskets of mangoes, even red sticks from the nearby town. Some tried poetry, others music. One even offered to build her a house with his own hands. But Grace always shook her head politely and smiled. "Thank you," she would say, "but I'm looking for something else." The village was confused. What did she want? Was she waiting for a rich prince, a foreign traveler, or was she planning to stay alone forever? One day, a stranger arrived in the village. His name was Daniel. He had no horse, no fancy clothes, and no wealth. His only belongings were a small bag, a wooden flute, and a notebook full of sketches. He came from the mountain, walking for days with dust on his feet and a calm light in his eyes. Daniel wasn't strong like the farmers or smooth like the traders, but he was kind. He listened more than he spoke. When children ran past him, he smiled and waved. When old women carried firewood, he offered to help. He didn't talk about himself unless someone asked. The first time he saw Grace, she was reading a book under the big tree near the church. He didn't walk over to impress her. He sat under another tree and took out his flute. Soft music floated through the air. Grace looked up from her book. She listened, and for the first time in a long while, she smiled, not just with her lips, but with her eyes. Over the next few weeks, Daniel continued living simply. He helped the blacksmith sharpen tools. He played his flute at the river. He drew pictures of the village children and gave them away as gifts. He spoke to Grace only a few times and never about love. One day, Grace came to her father with a quiet voice. "Papa," she said, "I have found someone." Reverend Elijah raised his eyebrows. "Who, my child?" "Daniel." The pastor frowned. "The mountain traveler? He has no land, no money, no family here." "I know," Grace said, "but he sees the world like I do. He listens when others speak. He doesn't try to impress me. He's just himself. I've waited not for someone to give me things, but for someone to understand me better." The pastor was silent for a long moment. Then he smiled, soft and slow. "Ah, so that is what you're waiting for all this while?" The villagers were shocked when Grace and Daniel announced their marriage. "But he has nothing," some whispered. "She could have anyone she wanted." On the wedding day, Grace wore a simple dress and Daniel wore his cleanest shirt. There were no golden rings, no dancers, and no fancy food, but the entire village came. And when Daniel played his flute and Grace recited a poem she had written for him, there wasn't a dry eye in the crowd. In the end, people understood it wasn't that no man could satisfy the pastor's daughter. It was that no man had understood her. Grace didn't want riches or strength or fame. She wanted a heart that matched hers. And Daniel had that heart. Hope you enjoyed the story. Subscribe for more value-adding stories.